All right. So hi, my name is Hamil Patel. Yeah, and welcome to the e-commerce and online startup class. Um, this class has been taught by mostly Justin. I don't know if a lot of you probably know Justin if you've taken his class. Um, so we are co-teaching it. He might show up in one or a few times during this semester. Um, but I've been teaching some other classes. For example, I teach programming classes, game design, and also scripting class. 162 and 168 usually. Not this semester though. Yeah. So this is the only class I'm teaching this semester. Um, yeah. So let me tell you a little bit myself. So yeah, I'm an engineer, lifelong engineer. I've worked in this industry, in the software industry for almost, I would say, 25 years. Um, and I worked with many different companies. Some of the notable companies would be my recent job was at Amazon. I was a lead engineer there. I worked at Dell, HP, also worked at NASA for many years. So I also worked at some startups and things like that. Um, so yeah, I used to be YouTuber also. I don't put many videos these days, but let me show you my channel. Uh, if you ever are learning JavaScript and things like that. I might restart it one of these days. Um, but anyway, so that's me. Um, I've been teaching it at BCC for about 5 years or so. Um, and the reason I teach, to be honest, is I just love, you know, getting that knowledge out. And I'm probably a different teacher than a lot of traditional teachers. My approach is basically breaking down very complex concept into smaller pieces, right? I teach the way I wanted to learn from other folks, right? So, uh, um, so this class should be actually a lot of fun. This is actually close to my heart as well, because um, I love I've been in the e-commerce field for a long time, right? And I had a lot of passion to start to work in a startup. I had started my own one, but had failed. If I was younger, I would do it again, right? But you guys have a chance, so you know a lot of people think having your own startup, right? Is it's it's not possible if I'm not knowledgeable on a lot of these things, right? The idea is you can have your own startup as long as you you have passion, right? Ideas a dime a dozen. I can sell coconut oil, um, and make huge business out of it if I know how to do it right, right? So never think that you are less, okay? If you have a passion, that's the key thing. There are a lot of smart people who have got a lot of ideas, but they don't materialize. And I'm one of them, right? Materialize because at least I tried. That let me put it that way. But a lot of people fail because they try something, but they have a lot of fears and they don't want to pursue it, right? People who are successful, those who start something and finish something, right? So that is a key. Um, All right, so that's my introduction. Any questions? All right. Yeah. So let's go around the class, for a quick introduction. Let's talk about three things. One is, obviously you introduce yourself, your name, and um, why you're taking this class, what are you trying to achieve from it, right? And then maybe tell us something about yourself something interesting, right? Um, so yeah, your name, why you taking this class, and some interesting fact about yourself. Let's start. Who wants to start? How about that?
I can start.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My name is Evan. I am I'm a content producer
Okay.
and I'm taking this class because I want to get a better fundamental understanding of e-commerce. And a fun fact about me is I grew up on the East Coast and I live on the West Coast now, but I've traveled all over the world and I like to play a lot of sports. I play sports 2 or 3 nights a week. And one of the recent sports I picked up has been kiteboarding. And it has been a journey and a little dangerous, but it's a lot of fun. And um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you, Ewan. Yeah, I'm also a content creator, but that's not my primary job. But as I said, YouTube, I've created a lot of content. I used to write, I used to have blogs. I have a Udemy account, so I create videos on programming. Um, at one point, I was actually making $2,000, $3,000 a month easily from all of these. I, but life happens, and but
Things
yeah,
shift. Yeah.
don't I don't do that anymore. But I think I need to get back into it. I know a lot about, you know, how all of these works, right? I'm not a Instagram content creator, but um, those are the things I want to get back into, you know, uh, shorter format. And my passion is also a lot of marketing because if you're a content creator, you need to do a little bit of marketing, right? So to get ahead in the game. So yeah, cool. Um, who wants to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
My name is Jennifer, and the reason I'm taking this class is I'm currently pursuing an AS degree in web programming, so I thought this would be a really good class to take. Um, as far as an interesting fact, aside from computers, one of my biggest passions has always been music. I used to sing in choirs for many years, not currently, hopefully maybe one of these days again, but I used to sing in choirs for many years, usually two or three at a time. And then also, my favorite sport is baseball. I played softball for 9 years growing up. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so Gavin, you're next. I think you were going to your class, another class. Okay. Um, yeah, just messages when you when you have a few minutes, so maybe if not this class, this time, maybe next time. Or you can always put your thoughts in the chat if you can't talk right now. All right, cool. Let's get started. So let me open. I've actually put one first module in the canvas, so let me open it. Okay. Let me share my screen. All right. Do you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
All right. Okay. Okay, yeah, we have another student join. Tareen. I don't know if did I pronounce your name right? How do you say it?
Hi, it's Taryn. Everyone put
Taryn.
Karen.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so Taryn, we just went through a quick introduction. If you can introduce yourself quickly.
Um, sure. My name is Taryn. I use she, her pronouns. I'm doing the mobile and web design certificate. So I wanted to take this class to like help expand my skill set. Like that's why I'm doing the certificate.
Okay. And we're doing three things. Like, what is some fun fact about you? Like one fun fact about you.
Um, I am a Leo. That's not that fun, but
Okay, cool.
Hi, Professor
Um,
Patel. I can actually go right now too.
all right, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Gavin. I am an artist. I'd say that I am first and foremost a painter, but I am very interested in where like the cyberspace meets traditional art. And so I
Mhm.
think kind of inevitable for me to have to navigate um e-commerce specifically if
Okay.
I progress in my career. So that's why I'm here. And one fun fact is that I'm headed to my ballet class at the moment. So that's another thing in my life at the moment.
Awesome. That is an interesting fun fact. How long you been doing this?
Actually I started last fall semester, so pretty
Okay.
new. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, so I think it looks like we went through everyone, at least in the Zoom. Yeah, this is I think a very small class. I think I have some other students, but I think some of the students are actually from high school, so which I teach separately. So um, cool. So let's get started. And as I said, I'll be recording this class, and anytime you miss something, you can always go and take a look at in Canvas because I'll upload the class video in the Canvas, right? So, um, okay. So let me give you a quick e-commerce overview. Um, as I said, I have a lot of experience in e-commerce because um, my last company I worked for, Amazon, I was in something called AWS. I don't know if you guys are familiar with AWS. Um, but it's basically a cloud computing, right? What they call cloud, if you heard of it. Um, my team alone was making, guess how much it was making a year? You can throw any number. I had a team of 12 people. It was making X number amount of money in a year. Can anyone guess how much? Just a random guess. Anyone? A random guess?
500,000 now.
500,000? Let's go higher.
2 million?
Higher.
10 million?
Much higher.
Oh, 100 million?
Much higher.
Oh,
$1 billion.
Higher. Okay, we are closer now. It was about $7 billion. Okay, $7 billion. My team alone. Um, the you must be wondering what is a product. So the product is you guys have iPhones, right? Some of you do. And anytime you upload a picture or something on your phone, it goes to this iCloud account, right? That iCloud underneath is AWS. So imagine every phone's data goes into there. So how much money it's making, right? That's just one thing, right? I guarantee you this Peralta. I think Peralta may be a different cloud provider, but it's a similar product, right? There are three product competing product. There's a AWS, which is called Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and Azure. Azure is the Microsoft. So the three major cloud company that pretty much covers 80 to 90% of the overall world's cloud computing. I think the overall cloud computing would be probably in $1 trillion or something. Okay. Amazon probably makes majority of share from that. So you can see how much money it is, right? So that's one company. Also, if you look at the brick and mortar companies, right? Let me just give you a little bit of comparison to brick and mortar companies. If you look at the Walmart, the store itself, or Target, right? Imagine if there is no web. The only way you can start something is by opening your own store. How would you open your own store? It requires so much capital, right? It requires so much money. It's almost impossible for normal Joe to open their own store, right? You would need, I mean, you can start maybe a smaller store and then grow, and it will, growing, the physical store, it takes a really long time, right? Maybe you start in a small shop, then you have to really make good money in a good area, and then you probably say, okay, I'm gonna create another store, and then, it's a long process. With the cloud business, let's say you start something, an online store. Building it, no problem. You can easily build it. Again, you're not going to do everything yourself, right? You always will have some help. But as an owner or visionary person, you will figure some of the things out. It's not rocket science, right? All of these stuff is on internet nowadays. You can actually sell something and it can take off. I'd say you figure out some toy or some gadget or something that you want to sell, or maybe I don't know, some fashion thing or something unique, right? That you can make, or maybe get it from some other country and sell it in US or something like that. Um, and then let's say today you have 50 users, 50 people buying from your store. And suddenly next day can be 100, and then following day could be 1,000, and then it can grow. It's not a physical store, right? Which means there is no door, right? You can, so obviously you need more infrastructure and all that stuff, but once the money coming in, it's easy to scale, right? And that's the beauty of e-commerce. So I just wanted to show you the picture, like why e-commerce is, key. If you were just a physical pop and mom shop, we wouldn't have classes like this, where anyone can just learn and then start their business. But it is possible with the web, right? So that's a key. Okay, so let's get started. What is web service? What is web commerce? Web commerce is nothing but providing product and services online. Two things, product and services. Products, if you go to Amazon, you can buy everything from pen to a sofa, right? You can even buy groceries. So these are products, right? So it's a physical product, or it could be in a digital product. Let's say if you want to buy a video, or a music playlist or something. I don't know, music from CD or digital music or something, right? But they're all products, something you own. You can use it physically or in your device. Or you can have a service. Anyone know what is an example of service is?
It's something like online classes.
Online classes, yes. You can, let's say there could be two things. One is you can, like a Udemy, for example, where you get a course and you purchase it. In a way, you're purchasing the course. So that I would consider product, right? But you can have a tuition service where somebody is teaching you online, right? Like this is a service, right? I'm teaching you, I'm providing a service, right? There's no product, but I'm providing a service. Okay. If you take this as a business idea, then you are a consumer and I'm a provider, right? In a way. And this is a service. It could be a financial service. So let's say if you look at PayPal, right? Where you can, or Cash App or something, where you send somebody money, right? So it's a service. And there are a lot of examples of services, right? So when you think about something, you always think about either there's a product or some sort of service, but involves some sort of, money transfer. You pay for it, right? You buy it, you subscribe to it. Um, you know, so yeah. As I say, Amazon is example where you can, it has both products and services. How does it work? So, which is very important, right? How does it work? So, um, essentially, you have two things, right? You have a buyer and a seller. Or yeah, the seller would be the business, and then the customer would be the person who is going to the web application is buying it, right? And that's the ideally it works. It can have, like, let's say, for example, Uber, where if you if you reserve an Uber, you're a customer, right? It is a service. It takes you from point A to point B, right? So yeah, there's so many examples. But ideally, you know, it can be a social media website, or it could be promotion also. You can buy promotion, or things like that. So those are all example of services. Where customer does some search, finds something, pays for it, right? Get the confirmation that you purchase it, and there's a transaction, some sort of transaction, right? If you look at all of these services, whether it's Uber or Airbnb or Amazon, they all have this model, right? So the question is, where does this take place? From your computer, pretty much, right? Your phone. I think nowadays, because of the web services, everything happens from your phone, right? Nowadays, you need some sort of device. It could be a computer or a phone, right? More and more services are going in a phone. So That's pretty clear, right? Any questions on it? All right. Cool. And this is a key part. What type of e-commerce services are there? So if you want to look at the e-commerce services, there are different kind of models, right? Let's look at B2C. Anyone know what a B2C is? Business to customer. That's B2C. Business is selling to customer, right? Can you give me an example of B2C?
Uber.
Uber. Yes. Uber, yes. There's a business and it's selling to a customer, right? Amazon is a great example, right? Amazon is the business, you are the customer. I think pretty much all these models have some aspect of B2C, but not a lot of companies have different models. It could be one of these or multiple of these, right? If you look at Amazon, they're pretty much in most of these categories. Let's look at B2B, business to business. What do you think going on there? Give me an
Like
example.
supply chain stuff.
Yeah,
So
supply.
like one company selling raw materials to another business before
Exactly.
they sell it to another business or direct to consumer.
Yeah. In this case, it's a business, right? To business to business. So let's say I am making shirts, right? Or t-shirts. And I have a factory for that, right? But I need cloth. I need color or whatnot, right? So I would need to buy it from some supplier who provides me that, right? So that's a one business to another business. Um, so when you come up with a business, you can look at any of these models, right? Um, okay. Let's look at C2B. What is an example of C2B? Or you as a customer selling to business.
Banks,
Huh?
like banks.
Banks, I would say it's a different kind of entity. You're not really selling anything to bank. Um, um, a customer to business is usually ultimately then business would sell something back to customer. Think of it that way, right? So let's see. Um, if you are a Airbnb, right? Uh, let's say you have a house and or you have there were a couple of other models like you have a car that you want to give it to or your some company to use and then they can use it to rent to other companies or other folks, right? So that is an example of customer to business. um Basically a lot of companies rely on you know uh customer to business. For example, uh, let's say content creators, right? You are essentially selling your content to a business. Think of that way, right? And they pay for, so Instagram, do you think Instagram creates any post? Maybe some, but most of the posts are created by users, right? And then they get paid for creating the content, right? They're not necessarily selling it, but in a way they're selling it. I can be, let's say, uh, I can create a course and sell it to a company. But the models are a little different where, company would then make me a contract saying that, okay, you can put it up here, and then if a lot of people watching it, then I'll pay you for it, right? So it's almost like a renting it, right? Like a pay-per-view kind of model. So what about C2C? Any idea what a C2C is? Consumer to consumer. Um, Facebook Marketplace, right? Where I want to sell my sofa. Obviously, Facebook provides this platform, but ultimately I'm selling, you know, my sofa on Marketplace, but it is being purchased. So I have to pay, if I purchase something, I have to pay that guy, and that guy that guy pays me when I sell it as well. So, and then Facebook just takes a cut from it, right? Or I can have a forum or something where I connect people, and then they just, like Craigslist, for example, right? And that's a similar model. Fiverr, if you ever heard of Fiverr, where you know you say, I know how to draw. Somebody needs a drawing, right? So I can draw it from them, build a logo for them, right? So it's customer to customer, consumer to consumer, should I say. um eBay. Yes, eBay is also an example of a C2C, right? Because eBay doesn't really have their own maybe now they do, I don't know, but majority of time they are connecting consumer to consumer. Yeah. Um, yeah, so that's a good example, eBay. All right, so that's that. Let's go in the now the next category is business related. Sorry, government related. Okay. Um, so we can go over quickly. Uh, business to government. What are the concept in there? Like, what do you think is happening there?
Like if a weapons manufacturer is selling to like the US government or the military.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a great example. Weapon manufacturer. They're selling their weapons to government, military, right? It could be like federal, that's a federal government. What you're looking at right now is Canvas. So I think Canvas itself is an independent some company makes it and sells it to government, right? The Zoom you're looking at, that is also selling their product, right, to government. So government needs all these softwares and weapons, and if you're in school, janitorial services to supplies, uh, building material, books, all of these are actually business to government. Okay. You need, in order to go in that business, you need a lot of connections, right? And that's how it works. You know somebody, and you sell it to government, and then they get a cut and you get a cut. So that's how it works, unfortunately. Um, can you sell it to government? C2G. Consumer sells directly to government. That's a tricky one. I think you can sell your services at a lower level to government. But usually the way the government works is government doesn't really do small contracts, you know. Um, that is a tricky category. Not a lot of thing happens there, you know, because if you're selling something, you're mostly a business, right? Um, though there are some things you can do. So in, you know, for example, government has this model where they get some money. Let's say federal government gets some money for some research. They just ask, hey, anyone wants to do some research, and as a consumer, you can just say, hey, you know, I want, you know, I can do this. So they go to government, and you know, government pays you to do some work, and you know, you get paid like that, right? So um, all right, government to business. Can you, these are, you know, all the government stuff is a little tricky. Government to business. The government sell something to business?
Surplus items.
Say it again.
Surplus items.
Surplus items. Yeah, that's a good example. Surplus items. Let's say you have old chairs and stuff like that, right? That you're not using, you can auction it, or you know, things like that, right? So yeah. So if you think of government, our government is not in the business of making profit. Okay.
Unless it's asset forfeiture, right?
Say it again. Sorry.
Unless it's like asset forfeiture laws.
Yeah, so okay, so
Then
the way it works is interesting. There is no loss or profit in government. Okay. The way it works, and I worked for NASA for many years, so I know a lot about it. Um, so let's say NASA has all these centers, right? JPL, JSC, Kennedy Center, and all that stuff, and they all get, you know, funding from federal government, right, to build the rockets or you know, mission and whatnot, right? And that money gets distributed among projects, and projects do some research or they build rockets or whatnot, right? There's so many things going on, even for maintenance. Let's say you have to maintain the services, you have to, you know, all of these stuff, right? Procurement and people and all that stuff. So I remember working in that one of the groups where they were building softwares for other agency in the government. And my team used to get a few $1 million every year, right, to spend. And all we had to do is, you know, do some research and burn the money, right? The money was going for our salaries, right? And then maybe some computers and softwares and some other stuff, right? Now, imagine government said, okay, here's $2 million, you spend it, and then you go and start spending it. And then what if you realize that you cannot spend that $2 million? Let's say this year you can do only 1.5 million, and you have $500,000 left. What will happen to that money? Any ideas? Government, first of all, takes it back. Okay. Because you cannot have profit. You cannot have like an account where they say, oh, I'm gonna grow this. I'm gonna save this. No, there's no concept of saving. First of all, they'll take that 500,000. What's gonna happen is the next year, your budget will be reduced by 500,000. So instead of 2 million, you get $1.5 million next year because you could not spend all of it, right? So I remember one day my boss came, my boss came to me and um, he said, you know, we have $100,000 left we need to spend by end of this month. Where can we spend it? Yeah, you cannot go and buy, go at expensive lunches or buy yourself, a car or something like that. No, it has to it needs to be spent on the actual official business. So I said I want the best computer in the world. I remember there used to be a computer called Alienware, you know, and it's like a bulky laptop, had a huge symbol of alien on the top of it. And it was the coolest thing back in the days. So I remember I asked my boss to get it, and it was, I think it was like a $5,000 computer. And he said, "Oh, the 5,000, that's great. I'm buying it." Okay. Because he wanted to spend that 100,000. If everyone bought like $1,000 computer, we were like 12 people. So it, we would only spend, maybe 13, $14,000, right? But if you buy a $5,000 computer, so you can burn like 60, $70,000. So he was happy that we were, and then we bought a giant TV for our, office and bunch of other stuff, right? So we burned through that $100,000. That's how the government works. You need to understand, right? And oftentimes as a business, you can take advantage of it. Okay. If you ever wanted to start a business, government and really get rich, government is the best place to do that. Um, you just need a friend or connection in the government, right? And it becomes like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, that kind of deal. So ultimately, once you get a contract, it's all easy peasy. You make tons of money and you live comfortably for the rest of your life. So, and just FYI, if you have a contact, let me know. I want in, I want, I want in a piece of that pie, right? So I'll guide you through the business. All right. So that's that, right? Anytime you want to have this kind of thing, you need to understand how the business work and and that's the key, right? In life general, I think um when it's all services, right? Think of that way. I'd say if somebody's getting a divorce, which is a horrible thing, but if somebody's getting a divorce, they need a lawyer, right? Um, can they represent themselves? No. Does it require a lot of knowledge to be, to know all the divorce laws? No, but it's an effort, right? So then you hire a divorce attorney who has, he just knows some laws and some paperwork, and he's been doing that for many years, right? So what they will do is they just guide you through it. So you pay them a lot of money just for the paperwork. And you must be wondering, like, okay, yeah, why should I pay you $10,000, $15,000 for this just paperwork, right? It's because I'm getting the expertise from you, because I don't have to learn that stuff, right? So oftentimes all of these skills is, you may not know, you may think, oh, this is a useless skill, but in the end, it makes you a lot of money. So you need to recognize the value in each thing if you want to start a business, right? Because that's a key to start a business. Okay. So the government to business. I think we were at government to business. Okay. Government also sometimes lease their buildings and stuff like that. But as I said, government is not in business, money-making business. So what they'll do is they will, if they even get some money, they'll spend it all. They never save anything, right? Because of the government. Some example would be, let's say Google, you all use Google Maps, right? And the satellite maps. So Google don't have satellites. Maybe now they do, I don't know. But they need to rely on government to provide them, maps. So they might pay a little bit to government to get all the maps so they can show any application, right? So that's an example of government. G2C is an interesting one. Anyone, any idea where government is selling something to customer or consumer? Have you bought anything from government? It may not be a product, it could be a service.
What about like a passport?
Yep. Yep. As I said, it doesn't have to be product, it's a service, right? Passport, driver license, permits, right? So they charge you for, let's say if I want to extend my house, I need some permission from government. They'll charge me a fee for it, right? Somebody would come to my house or look at my plans and sign off on it, and then I can do whatever I'm supposed to do, right? So that's government to consumer. Okay. But yeah, these are the categories, but I think we'll focus mostly on the first four, which is B2C, B2B, C2B, and C2C, right? We'll just leave the government one alone but again, I think they're equally important. But I think if you want to have a startup, I think those ones are key. Any questions? All right. So let me tell you what we are going to learn now that we have like a first an introduction to web commerce, right? So let me tell you what I'll put this stuff on. I think I already have some of it, but I'll put some of the stuff on Canvas as we go along. But what we'll achieve in this class is we'll understand all of these web commerce method. We'll understand what require to build these web commerce product, right? Which would be like from the business ideas, right? You want to come up with a good idea. Business planning, right? I'll share some of my idea what I wanted to build. You know, um, what it takes to build run a startup, right? Eventually, how do you find people? What resources do you need? You might need to set up a domain because it's the e-commerce, right? So you need infrastructure. You need a server, domain. Mostly you'll go use some cloud services, right? Like AWS. Now, how to develop a product? What requires to build a product, right? Marketing and funding and all that stuff, right? So we'll go over all of these pieces as we have as we progress. As I said, this is the first time I'm teaching this specific class, so I wanna build really good material for this class as we go along, right? So yeah, any questions? Awesome. Okay, so I will actually give you some homework. Again, homework in this class is going to be much lightweight. Okay, so it's an easygoing class. Mostly I want you to, what I want to build is if you are going to, this would help really in a lot of aspect of your life, right? One is you can obviously start your own business, right? If you're helping out somebody in their business, it will help you as well, right? You can all get together and start your own business and leave the school and never look back. Okay. And then, maybe some pay me like $1 million after, you all are become billionaires, and then, something like that, right? That guy inspired us. So, but yeah, I think that's the idea, right? Um, to inspire you to make sure that you um, uh, learn the skills, right? So the homework would be coming up with some ideas. And again, we don't have to lock this idea, but just throw out 2 or 3 different ideas. Okay, and I'll put that in a canvas as well. And in the end, we'll have we'll work on the idea, and end of this class, we'll have some kind of a plan for building a successful product for that idea. Okay, so I want to keep it very practical. You can learn all theories, but if you can really create a plan, you can use that plan to build your business whenever you do it, right? So that would be the fun part. All right. Any question before we end? All right. As I said, I'll keep putting more material every week, and then I'll also have homework for you. All right. Cool. Yeah, that's it, folks. I'll see you. And again, timing would be 4 o'clock to 4 to 5. And if you ever miss, you can just watch a video, right? And then, you know, as we progress, I think there are probably some group exercises. We are a small group, so eventually, what I want you to do is maybe if there are like 4 or 5 people, then maybe we'll have 2 groups, because businesses are not run by individuals, right? They're run by, as a team. So eventually, I want you to create a team and then do the project together. Okay. So this way you get to learn how to work with other folks and learn from it. All right. Cool. I'll see you guys next week in that case.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, and yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.